3 students from Tzu Chi Universities take an internship in the United States with Tzu Chi volunteers and attend UN meetings. A couple from Banqiao, Taiwan makes pan-fried buns at an affordable price and still manages to donate money to Tzu Chi.
Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Marilee Shota. Thank you for joining us. Houston, Texas has suffered catastrophic flooding from Hurricane Harvey. The city of Dallas is playing host to a number of evacuees, and an emergency shelter has been set up at the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center. Recently, Tzu Chi volunteers were asked to provide 5,000 blankets for the victims staying there. Besides granting the request in the shortest time possible, volunteers also personally placed the individual blankets on the cots to ensure each victim felt the warmth of the volunteers' love.
The Kay Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center in Dallas, Texas has been designated as an emergency shelter to host 5,000 evacuees and needed blankets. After Tzu Chi volunteers got the request, they immediately prepared the needed items, with the Dallas chapter CEO also renting a moving van to help.
We're loading the blanket cartons one by one, and later we will go to the shelter and place the individual blankets one by one on the beds. We have a lot of work today, but we will be filled with blessings.
To move the hundreds of cartons onto the van is not an easy task, but they do their best to load it in the shortest time possible.
Let's do our best to comfort them so they have a comfortable home-like environment.
Dallas, though nearing Houston, is not affected by the windstorm at all. Volunteers put their gratitude and blessings into being the crutch the disaster victims need. After the van pulls up to the door, the Red Cross staff members welcome them with open arms. As they have worked together before, both sides hurry to bring the blankets into the center, with even the security guard pitching in to move the mass amount of blankets. Tzu Chi volunteers also make sure they place the blankets on each cot for the victims. As some of the roads are still blocked, there are still victims who have not made it to the shelter. Thus, volunteers only gave out 2,800 blankets. Besides these aid supplies, the Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters have also begun canvassing donations in hopes to awake people's charitable heart to help ease the suffering of these disaster victims.
Back in 2010, Tzu Chi Foundation was given an NGO special consultative status from the UN's Economic and Social Council. This year, Tzu Chi's education mission held its first UN internship project and selected 3 students from Tzu Chi University and Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology to learn alongside U.S. Tzu Chi volunteers as they attend meetings at the United Nations.
Stepping into the United Nations for the first time, 3 students from Tzu Chi University and Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology attended this special international meeting to communicate with the world.
When we went there this time, we had many chances to interact with others. When we introduced Tzu Chi to them, we also listened to others introducing their groups in the meantime. I think this is quite a challenge because we have to learn how to ask other people questions and how to answer their questions. This is what I have learned there.
Tzu Chi's education mission carried out their first UN internship project. In this program, students have the chance to attend an international meeting where they can personally experience the responsibility of global citizens.
We want to let the students pay close attention to some issues regarding environmental protection, sustainable use of natural resources, and any other issues related to the earth. I think through the participation of the young people, we can let more people know the power of the youth in our country.
The 3 students will walk into different schools to share their experiences and learning during their internship at the United Nations to encourage more youngsters to walk onto the stage of the world.
The success of the 2017 Summer Universiade in Taipei is actually attributed to 18,000 international volunteers from 39 different countries. They gave of themselves serving others during the 13 days of the events. In addition to these devoted volunteers, some athletes even did some good deeds before they returned to their own countries.
You can have a certificate in a souvenir.
stepping onto the stage one by one, these moments of glory is attributed to people who enjoy serving others. Thanks to the assistance of these volunteers, Taipei was able to conclude the 2017 Summer Universiade in a satisfactory way. Among the volunteers, this volunteer from Poland has the longest service hours. During the 13 days, he has served a total of 300 hours.
And I decided that it's a great opportunity to come so far from my country because it's almost 10,000 kilometers. But it's also a good way to travel and see something in very low cost. So it's the best opportunity to explore the world.
We are volunteers!
Coming from 39 different countries, this International Volunteer Award ceremony of the 2017 Summer Universiade is like a small United Nations. Over the past 13 days, they have experienced ups and downs together.
Be with them, share moments, celebrate, cry, be sad, be angry. I think that's the most important and most special part for me.
However, serving others is not the privilege for young people. The oldest volunteer at this year's events is Lin Mingmin, who comes from Hong Kong. She has worked as a volunteer for over 10 days. She has fallen in love with Taiwan due to her participation in the volunteers' ranks at this event.
I think the best thing in Taiwan is the people, because they make me feel more at home. They're so kind to the foreigners. For example, when we don't understand something, they're always willing to help us. This is a place where I feel very comfortable.
It is hoped that these volunteers will invite more friends to visit Taiwan to feel the passion of this country when they return to their own country. Athletes live in this athletes' village in Linkou every day during their competitions. Before the USA team returned to their country, they donated sporting goods to charitable organizations.
From an overall perspective, this was my favorite games. Absolutely, because the venues were fantastic. There were people that were cheering and yelling and screaming.
In addition to carrying out the acts of giving, some athletes also practice environmental protection. After the competitions, Japanese football players spontaneously help clean the environment with the brooms to restore Linkou Park to its former look. Although the Summer Universiade has concluded, the passion of Taiwanese people has left a deep impression on these foreign athletes.
Myanmar is a developing country which suffers from inadequate infrastructures. For example, the penetration rate of tap water is only 50% and is largely concentrated in large cities, while the penetration rate of electricity is less than 30%. Myanmar's new government in July of 2016 announced 12 new construction and infrastructure-based initiatives. Due to Myanmar being a vast country, resources often cannot reach the countryside. Thus, some 57 different NGOs are helping in many areas.
Myanmar is growing rapidly, but its infrastructure is still quite inadequate. In terms of electricity, their penetration rate is only 30%. Now in this village, we see Taiwanese enterprises are doing charitable works by helping villagers set up solar panels to solve their power supply needs.
When we came at first, we saw these remote villages really lag behind, as they have no electricity and no water.
Working with the Myanmar government's Rural Development Program, Datong has chosen to aid a few villages, starting a charity project for solar demonstration.
How to tell if it's charging is this flashing light, and when it turns green, it shows that the battery is full.
Now we are inspecting to see if the system is operating normally. They may lose some electricity, so we hope that they can follow our recommendations and instructions.
The entrance of this village has a solar power generating station. During the day, power is stored for use at night, which has completely changed the lives of the villagers.
With the solar power station installed, attention has now turned to water supply, which also has been resolved as there's a main water pipe which splits into 3 separate pipes to supply the village with 1,000 residents with daily water.
Bathing used to take place a kilometer away from the well, but now villagers can not only take a bath, but can also grow their vegetables easier.
We are really happy that Taiwanese people came and helped us install this because we are all Buddhists. So every night before going to bed, we will help them prayers.
After visiting the second demonstration village, the abbot leads all of the villagers to wait for the arrival of these Taiwanese. The water tower even has an ROC and Myanmar flag.
Because I have lived overseas for 23 years, no matter where I go, even 4,000 kilometers from my home, if I can see the Taiwan flag, I am very moved.
You're so far away from Taiwan and have still helped us with our most basic needs of water and electricity. So I invited you to come to our country and make it feel like it's your hometown.
Under the leadership of the abbot, more villagers have been able to connect water pipes to their homes, which can facilitate the care of livestock and make good use of these hard-won resources. Beautiful song fills the school as these blind children use songs to express their gratitude to visitors.
If you can see stuff, what will you do?
Oh, if I see, I will teach.
Taiwanese children have come to observe carefully those who need care as their father is using music to help soothe the vision impaired.
Some of the blind people here are also orphans, so we thought about establishing the I Love You Foundation to support them.
Zhao left Myanmar early to study in Taiwan and achieved good fortune when returning home.
Some people are trying to take advantage of Myanmar as there is still a great opportunity to make money, but we think that simply living life is enough.
In 2012, Zhao Deren assisted the former Control Yuan President Wang Qianxian in founding the I Love You Foundation. 2 years later, his Taiwanese wife and a pair of twins also moved to Yangon. His whole family is committed to charity work. I Love You Foundation has, over the past 5 years, achieved much success linking international resources and promoting many charitable projects. Some of their accomplishments are building over 100 wells, 15 bridges, 6 schools, and a program entitled Bowls of Porridge for 5,500 children. Also, the number of orphans they look after has reached 200 in 2017. They've also visited this home for the blind and showed their compassion and also spread hope. International charities are helping Myanmar move forward and create a better future.
In Malaysia, to raise funds for the construction of a Muar Jingsi Hall, Tzu Chi volunteers organized a charity banquet. Prior to the event, the volunteers handmade the gifts for the guests and rehearsed for the performance diligently. Let's take a look at how they prepare for this meaningful charity banquet.
To raise funds for the construction of Muar Jingsi Hall, the volunteers actively invite kind-hearted people to attend the charity banquet.
We are visiting a furniture shop owner in Bukit Pasir.
I'm just doing my share to help out. This is nothing. I hope your events will become even more successful so you can benefit the public.
The volunteers also handmade the trinkets to be given to the banquet attendees as tokens of gratitude.
Since the theme of our event is Heart Lotus, which represents compassion, we want to make trinkets in the shape of lotuses to be given to the guests.
Then the volunteers also prepare for the performance. They face the challenge of using the banquet venue for the first time.
We rehearse at our activity center instead of the actual venue. Therefore, when we place the location markers, we use our imaginations. We've discovered that there are some differences. So after coming to the actual venue, we are placing the location markers again, hoping we can present the performance formation well.
With mindful preparation for the event, the volunteers are working with one heart to ensure this charity banquet will be lively as well as heartwarming.
Staying in Malaysia, a Tzu Chi volunteer from the Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter worked with her daughter-in-law to raise funds for the construction of a Tzu Chi international school in the country. They invited a group of volunteers to come to their home to make more than 200 servings of a Malaysian appetizer called akar awak, otherwise known as spicy vegetable relish, for a charity sale.
Tzu Chi volunteer Lim Seong-yi and her daughter-in-law have invited volunteers to make a special Malaysian appetizer called acar awak to contribute their share for Tzu Chi International School.
My mother-in-law is good at making acar awak. Later, I contacted the team leader and told her that we wanted to make more than 100 boxes of this cuisine for a charity sale.
Knowing that this event is to raise funds for a school, many volunteers actively join the ranks, and they even bring their own cookers.
We know that everyone's doing good deeds. Since we live nearby, we should come to help.
To make the food taste crispy and delicious, it requires careful preparations. But to do something for education, these volunteers work with joy.
This is the traditional taste, which needs a lot of time and efforts, as well as love to make the delicious food.
This time, the volunteers have prepared more than 200 servings of the food. How to keep it fresh is also a challenge for them.
Since our family fridge is not large enough, we ask everyone to bring some of the food home to keep them. Everybody is willing to do so.
The volunteers work with one heart, contributing to education in hopes that the establishment of Tzu Chi International School in Kuala Lumpur can be completed earlier to benefit more students.
In Banqiao, Taiwan, a couple, Xie Mingke and Chen Zhao, sells pan-fried buns 360 days a year. Though the selling price of their buns are $5 NT, the thrifty couple still manages to donate money each year to Tzu Chi. They know they are rich in spirit and live a minimalistic lifestyle to continue helping accumulate blessings through their actions.
Doing simple things repeatedly makes the action extraordinary. Husband and wife Xie Minghe and Chen Zhao wake up at 3 a.m. each day to prepare for business. Hand making these pan-fried buns, the couple hopes their actions will connect with society. Their stall's most noticeable corner is reserved for the Tzu Chi monthly magazine.
If someone's looking through it, I'll simply ask them to take one home.
Each day before 10 a.m., 1,000 vegetarian pan-fried buns are sold. Each is sold at $5 NT.
It's wonderful to do something good to help someone. We can help feed the hungry and poor.
The couple lives without much fanfare, yet they manage to donate funds on behalf of their children and grandchildren each year.
When they watch TV, they don't turn on the light. They use the light emanating from the Buddha's lamp.
I hold a heart of gratitude each day. Why, look at us, we're in our 80s and still have this much energy and strength to do this much work each day.
Knowing the suffering will not end, they say their donations will not cease.
Policeman Liu Jingren of Hujie Police Station in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, spends almost all of his salary every month to help underprivileged people. He even helped an old woman live in a nursing home, but he had never told his colleagues about it. It was not until an inspector saw him helping this old woman walking that his 6-year philanthropic deeds became public.
The policeman came to the nursing home not to investigate any case, but to help the grandma take a walk. He also brought her some nutritional supplements. Staff at the nursing home used to think Police Liu was a member of her family.
Came to apply for grandma live here. We thought policeman Liu was her family member.
Was she his relative or friend? He said no. Then I became more curious. Is she related to you? And he said no to both questions.
The grandma goes to the police station to see Liu Jingren so often that the inspector thought they had a very close relationship. But the fact is that the grandma is just one underprivileged person in the community.
She's just like my mom, so I take care of her. She was very pitiful because she had no place to live.
For 6 years, Liu Jingren has been helping her quietly, including paying for her to live in a nursing home. But actually, he has been helping 8 people in the community. Liu Jingren began volunteering with his mother since he was little.
In the past, we didn't have much money, so my mom swept floors or cleaned tables for other people. I just went along. After I became older, I realized that this is what my mom often said: donating money if you have any, giving yourself if you can.
This Iron Man has a soft heart. He spends around $1,300 a month to help underprivileged people. But fortunately, his family supports him completely, and his charity does not affect his family's livelihood, and also allows this police work to be more meaningful.
Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for East Tamaki Primary School in Auckland, New Zealand for many years. Recently, they donated a total of 557 books to the school to aid the students' studies. Volunteers also introduced Tzu Chi's bamboo coin banks in hopes of inspiring them to do good deeds and help others, less fortunate people.
With the guidance of students, Tzu Chi volunteers carry a total of 557 teaching books, which will be given to East Tamaki Primary School in Auckland. Students say they enjoy reading books. After understanding the meaning behind Tzu Chi's bamboo coin banks, the students show their willingness to adopt coin banks.
You can put some money, coins into this bag, and don't forget to make a good wish. Okay? Anybody would like to have this? Raise your hand. I haven't got this now. Okay?
These children who step forward to embrace Tzu Chi volunteers are dressed as fairy tale characters and happily celebrate the lively book day.
Each month, the Thailand Tzu Chi chapter will hold free clinics for refugees. At the most recent event, 300 volunteers served 600 refugees. Some of the volunteers were even refugees themselves who felt giving to others in need was a much better way to spend the day than cooped up at home. We'll leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.